Hola mis amigos, yo soy Brock Page, and I do random sports picks for fun. Let's go ahead and get into it. Toronto's plus 6.5 at Cleveland tonight, with the total at 208.5. Currently, the Cavs are significantly favored on the money line, laying 310. And at the moment, 51% of the bettors think the Cavaliers will get the job done. Speaking of Cleveland, they're in their normal playoff form, winning 4 straight and sweeping Indiana in the first round. With that in mind, the Cavs covered the spread in just 2 of those 4 wins, and have covered just 19 of 43 at home this year. The season series has left you strictly paying the juice, as Cleveland's 2-2 against the spread in head-to-head matchups versus Toronto. Speaking of the Raptors, they're covering an impressive 70% of their games versus teams over 500. In addition to that, Toronto's a solid 16-8 against the spread as the official road underdog. They're also covering 67% in games at the current point spread. When it comes to the scoring, 3 out of Toronto's last 4 games have gone under the line. 3 out of those very 4 games have also gone under 208.5. All that said, I'm ready to make my picks as I think Toronto plus 6.5 will get the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total, I think this one stays under 208.5. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think Cleveland grinds this one out in a close one. I'm also adjusting the line and taking Toronto plus 11.5 as the first pick of my 2-team teaser. All right, guys, before I slide into my next and final game for the show, dame un segundo. I just want to recap yesterday's action. I went 3-3 on the 2 playoff games with picks against the spread, the total, and the money line. I also had an unsuccessful and once again controversial teaser. Folks, I explain how these teasers work on every broadcast. 3-team 8-pointers pay 5 to 6, while 4-team 10-pointers pay 5 to 6 as well. If your sportsbook does not offer these kind of teasers, they're doing you a disservice, and really it's an advantageous bet for them to book as well. Adjusting the lines is not a foreign and fairy tale concept, but regardless, thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully we'll do a better job today on the picks, but as always, I don't know anything about sports handicapping. Up here pretty much guessing and shooting darts. But anyway, we're going to slide into our next and final game for the show, Houston at San Antonio. Lots of movement in this one. The betting opened up with the Spurs as the 4.5-point favorites and the total at 212.5. Since then, San Antonio is now -6 against the spread, with the total moving downward to 213.5. Currently, the Spurs are laying 240 on the money line, and at the moment, 57% of the bettors think Houston will get the job done. So look for that line to possibly get down to 5.5 or 5 again. And speaking of the line, it was feast or famine for San Antonio when it came to the number. The Spurs beat the Grizzlies 4-2 in that series, winning and covering the 4 games, while failing to cover in those 2 losses. Obvious because they were favored in those matchups. In addition to that, San Antonio won and covered in all their home games in that series. There were 3 of those, by the way. Although the Spurs have been good against the number this postseason, they're facing a Houston squad who covers an impressive 73% of their games as the underdog. Even more shocking, the Houston Rockets cover a staggering 85% as the official road underdog. So this is going to be a tough one to pick. Let's take a look at the scoring real quick. 5 out of San Antonio's last 6 games in the Memphis series went over the total posted points. On the other side, 3 out of Houston's last 4 games have gone over 213.5. Well, that said, I'm ready to make my pick as I think San Antonio -6 will get the job done against the spread. When it comes to the total, I think this one will actually get over 213.5. And when it comes to the money line cash, I think San Antonio bitch slaps the Rockets. I'm also adjusting the line and taking Houston plus 11 as the second and final pick of my 2-teamer. Just a reminder, my 5.2 team teasers pay 5 to 6, or in betting terms, -120. You can find this exotic wager in several online sportsbooks and in the beautiful tax-free state of Delaware. Well, folks, that is going to do it for me. Nos vemos a la próxima. But before I get out of here, I have to remind you that I am not a sports betting expert, nor do I implore you to take any of my picks. A wise man once said, good ain't free, and free ain't good. If for some reason you decide to use the free information on this program, you're utilizing it at your own discretion. Most importantly, if you're betting any of these games, do it safe, do it responsibly, and most important, have fun. For Brock Page Predictions and Sports Picks, I'm Brock Page. and have yourself a positive day.